This is the Hollywood Actor's Guide to Surviving the Film and Television Industry. I'm Jennifer Lynn Warren. Let's talk about safety. I've talked about it before. Do not turn off this podcast. A prop firearm discharged by actor Alec Baldwin, who's producing and starring in a Western movie called Rust, killed his director of photography and injured the director Thursday at the movie set right outside of Santa Fe. A lot of complaints had been happening with this movie. Crew had walked off. Apparently, they were being made to drive a ridiculous amount of time to and from set. Union members walked off, but it wasn't enough. There were so many things happening on this set, but let's talk about the big news story that you should have heard about. If you haven't heard about it, then you're not listening and you're not watching the trades and all that stuff that I told you you have to do. You have to be doing. So according to the warrant that has been issued, the movie's assistant director and the assistant director on a set is also responsible for safety, by the way. So if you're ever on set and someone's giving a safety speech, it's usually the assistant director and the stunt coordinator, usually in tangent, right? So he grabbed one of the 3 prop guns as laid out by the production's armorer, Hannah Reed. The report states that Halls then took the gun, gave it to Alec Baldwin, who was in full old Western costume inside the church, and yelled, "Cold gun." That indicates, when someone says cold gun, it's supposed to indicate that the prop gun does not have any live rounds. The document, the warrant, states that the prop gun was fired by Alec Baldwin and it struck Hutchins and then Souza, who is the director, who is standing behind her. It adds that Halls did not know there were live rounds in the prop gun when he handed it to Baldwin. After the shooting, the prop gun was given to Reed, who removed the spent casing, and it sounds like there was just one, which is very interesting, and handed the firearm to deputies when they arrived on the scene. Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, as an actor, you're on a set and you see that your crew members are not being treated fairly. They're not given the hotel and the pay that they told they were going to get. And it's bad enough for crew members to walk off. Obviously, this is a union movie, so these are going to be SAG-AFTRA actors as well. I think it is your duty to contact SAG and say, listen, they're not treating the crew members correctly. I think SAG should make sure that everything is going as it should be going. But let's talk about the actor, because all of us have to imagine reading this story. If you are this actor, if someone hands you a gun on set, and this was happening apparently during a rehearsal, and he's practicing his, or you are practicing your drawing the gun and shooting, the scene, because, you want to do it good. We all want to do it really good. We all want to be excellent. We all want to win our Oscars, whatever. But you're handed a gun. Now, it is my understanding that a gun never gets pointed at a camera. And it sounds like reading the warrant issued that it may not have actually been pointed at the camera. He swung it and pointed it at a person and fired. Anybody who's had any sort of gun training, and I would imagine, Alec Baldwin's done plenty of movies in which he's had guns in his hands. I don't know how he could not know this. You never point your gun at something without the intention of shooting it, right? And so it's one thing to practice your draw, but the fact that he fired his gun during a rehearsal at people is, in my opinion, very, very negligent. Now, as an actor, I think that the way the rules go right now, that if you were the person who accidentally shot and killed somebody on set, I don't think you actually are responsible. I think it's the producers and such on the film. And you know, there's been a lot of buzz going on that Alec won't be held responsible if he was just an actor, but because he's also producer on the film, that he should be held responsible. I think that, you know, anytime I've been on set with a gun, it's just freaking gone differently. And what has happened, it makes me so angry, which is why we're doing a podcast just about this. First of all, you have an armorer on set. Like that's a person who is responsible for weapons. That person should have checked the gun. Anytime I've been on set with a gun, and it hasn't happened a lot, but it's happened a couple times, them or the prop master or the stunt coordinator, whoever is in charge of the weapon that day, they open up the chamber of the gun. They show me that it's empty. They close it, and then they hand the gun to me. I then have been trained to open up the chamber again, recheck it in my hands, close it, cock the weapon, and fire at the ground to just make sure. Like, there's like so many things that I've been trained to do, and I don't know if that's like all like standard for anybody, or if somebody thinks that's crazy, but that's what I was taught by a stunt coordinator way back, like 23 years ago, to do, how to handle a weapon on a set. Because it's, you know, we had the shooting on the Crow, and I think we should have learned from that. This never should have happened again. The fact that we have real guns on sets also is something I do not understand. It's so easy to make a fake gun look real. So easy that I don't understand why we have to have real guns on set. But that's my personal emotional opinion coming out of this. And so what's all of this about? It's about you as an actor. You have the power on set for your own safety and the safety of others. This poor cinematographer, she did not stand a chance. The fact that the AD did not check the gun, the fact that armor did not check the gun, and then the actor didn't check the gun is a level of negligence that honestly makes me a bit nauseous in my stomach. Like it is crazy to me. And so anytime you are on a set and someone is handing a weapon to you, you make sure, and if you don't know how to open up that gun and check that chamber, you say to them, I'd like to make sure that the chamber is empty. Show me how to do it. Demand it. Refuse to go on set until they do, because that is literally their job. It's like asking a server if you can have water. It's their job to go get you water. You're not asking them to do something weird or out of the ordinary. In fact, if they hand you a weapon and you don't ask for the safety thing, the stunt coordinator is going to think less of you. They are going to think more of you, and they're going to like being around you more if you are taking your own safety into your own hands. This goes to anytime you have a weapon, anytime you're asked to do stunts, anytime things feel unsafe, anytime you feel like you might be getting heat stroke, or you feel like you might be getting frostbite. I mean, this is one of the most unglamorous jobs in the world, wrapped up in glamour in a package that the world thinks is there. And if you think this is a glamorous business, just remember someone was just shot and killed on set for all of this glamour. This is a job. It is a job. And with jobs, every job out there comes responsibility. And so as an actor, I am pleading with you, please be responsible. You are never going to lose your job because you're trying to be safe. And if you ever feel like a producer is threatening you, or a director and they're scaring you, that's why you need to have the SAG-AFTRA app downloaded on your phone, because you can chat with them on the phone. You don't even need to make a phone call. They don't, you know, because that was one of the concerns with actors before. Well, if they hear me on the phone with SAG, then they know it's me, and yada, 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 I'm blacklisted. Here you go. Whereas, you know, if you're just out, quote, playing on Instagram or whatever, and you know, they're not going to know you're chatting with SAG. So download the app, chat with them, say, this is the production, this is the address, this is what's happening. And if it's and if it's really, really like dangerous, like I think, they're not doing weapon safety, they're not doing this, I think something could happen really soon, SAG will call the production immediately. They don't have to physically be there. They can call the production if they have enough reason to question what they're doing, and they'll get the producers on the phone, and they'll halt production, and they'll make sure things are righting themselves while sending out somebody else to set at the same time. So that type of stuff does happen. And believe me, producers have to keep SAG-AFTRA happy. They have to. It's in, like, there's so much stuff in the contracts to keep everybody happy. And so, my dear friends, I know it's super cool to have a gun with you, or a sword, or all that other cool stuff that some of us can be. And people talk about even loading blanks into guns, which I think is like even scarier, because like, how do you tell the difference between a blank and real live ammunition? It's very, very hard to tell the difference. So just be careful out there. You have the power to take control of your own safety. So take it. Break a leg out there, and remember, you are not alone.